But my point is this: the world potentially is about to end. You didn't hear not one person say, "Hallowed be thy name." Thy kingdom.
Right,
You
yeah.
hear none of that.
None of that.
Right. So what if all the people that were saved were already raptured, and the people left now are the ones about to go through the tribulation because of the rapture? They got that 7 years. They got to handle.
Wow.
You got challenges that you're going to run across.
Guy, what's the guy who started Chase Bank? Dang, I can't think of his name. He's the guy. He and his dad. Well, his dad actually saved the country. No, it was him. His dad. I mean, he actually saved the country twice during the 1900s. I can't think of it.
Not the Morgans.
Yeah, him.
Okay.
Yeah. So that guy Morgan, is it JP Morgan? Is JP Morgan?
Yeah, JP Morgan Chase. I know that JP Morgan
Yeah.
Chase is the name.
Yeah. That's a great documentary. Anybody, if you want to watch it, but
yeah.
So that last scene when because first of all, it was driving me crazy how. See, I'm trying to figure out, was they trying to imply that the young girl was like Jesus or something? Because she was.
Oh no! Let me help you out. Let me peel the layer.
Yeah, you help me out with that, because she was really thinking, and she was really the person that seemed like
she had a tug on her heart that there was something else, and nobody would share it with her. Think about this.
Right.
And imagine, just imagine in this movie, she kept asking her parents, say, "Hey, can you guys tell me what happened in the last episode of Friends?" Right. And no one would tell her, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they knew the answer, why would they not tell her? They knew the truth, but they never shared it. Why? So imagine all this is happening, and this is actually what they're going through is the rapture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because watch this. The world is about to end, and not one person sat there and prayed. You didn't hear not one.
They hardly mentioned God at all, except for the little story that she did. I mean, everybody knew that story.
But she said this. But my point is this: the world potentially is about to end. You didn't hear not one person say, "Hallowed be thy name."
Right. Yeah.
You hear none of that.
None of that.
Right. So what if all the people that were saved were already raptured, and the people left now are the ones about to go through the tribulation because of the rapture? They got that 7 years. They got to handle. So that's why none of those people would they had
because it was implied, or maybe the young lady implied that, because
So maybe all the people on the ship were gone, or majority of them, because they were called up, right? Because you see people on the ship,
right? None.
Maybe some of these planes crashed not because they had communication problems, because the pilots were
gone.
Right, gone. Right. I'm just saying we don't know, but these are easy roads to travel, assuming that this is the backdrop, right? So now with that, remember the deer kept coming out. Nobody.
Yeah.
What if?
But that deer always, and those packs of deer show up in a lot of different movies. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, for different reasons, but almost the same though. But go ahead.
What if the buck stops here?
Stops here, yeah. Right.
I mean, that could be the
but yeah, I know. I love that. But what do you mean? The end of the world stops? I mean, starts here? Stops here?
Those are bucks. They were bucks.
Right. I know that. Yeah, I got that. But I'm saying, what would be the point of the buck stop here?
Okay. One chapter ends, another one begins. That's what the buck stops here means. Okay. Right now, we stop. We cut it off right here. We're not taking this nonsense no more. Right. New chapter.
Wow.
But again, I'm just making it up.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. It could be a lot of things. Like I said, it's like the Matrix. You can go back and grab so much stuff from the original Matrix. Now, not anything else after that first one.
So watch this. So the girl. Watch this. Do you remember Ethan? Do you know Ethan's last name?
Hawk, right?
No, in the movie though, Ethan what? Fast. Another spiritual.
I didn't hear his last name. What, he was Mr. Fast? I mean, what?
Yeah, watch this. So you got to play a word, fast, right? So now
right.
you got the fast, but then you got Rose. Rose was the little girl, right? She's kind of like this other character, and then you saw they were wearing T-shirts. One said "Obey
NASA," yeah,
NASA, right?
Yeah,
and a lot of people believe NASA is just a straw man. And nobody's ever been certain places. But anyway, the whole thing was obey, right? Like the mind control stuff, right? That's a plug at that. They took a shot at Elon Musk too, and have the Teslas driving on the crash. But that's another story.
Wow.
That's
yeah, you're right. Having those Teslas in there. I don't know. Elon might have paid for that. Hey.
He made a tweet about it. He wasn't happy with it.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Okay. But the little girl now, I'm still thinking baby Jesus. I don't know, because she asking questions and that's what's coming to me. Because first of all, she was pissing me off at first.
She's hungry for the truth and nobody shares it with her.
Yeah.
So at some point, I'm gonna bring this full circle. That's the whole story. Mm-hmm. At some point, she chooses to go out on her own to find the truth. She sees this building. She thinks that she feels something there, right?
Mm-hmm.
She goes over there, and do you remember the name of the house? Who owned that house?
The Thorns.
The Thorns. Rose. The Thorn. What is that thorn? What does the Thorns mean?
Oh man. On
the crown of Christ.
Crown of Christ. Yeah, yeah.
So now she's moving toward the thorns. She's being drawn closer to Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got the red door, right, downstairs when she gets in there, and the red door is symbolic of Passover,
mm-hmm.
because they put blood on the door, and everybody came by there, and she didn't get killed. It's a place of protection,
right?
So she goes down there. So Rose is now in the protected place. And when they look at her, she's by herself. People are like, why she ain't go back and get her people? No, she didn't get her people on purpose. Mm-hmm. She needed to separate herself for a period of time and be drawn closer to the protected place, right?
Mm-hmm.
So while she's in the protected place, she begins to have her communion, all that food and the drink.
The Last Supper.
The Last Supper, bro. Right?
She had everything.
But watch this. So she finds in the bunker, she finds the video of the very last episode. But the last episode, the name of the last episode was what? It's called The Last One.
The Last One. Now, didn't her brother tell her that it's not, you'll never be able to see that, leave it alone, because it's not, her mother might have said it's not on video or something.
Well, he basically was telling, don't worry about it. You'll never find it. It doesn't really matter. So the mom, the dad, and the brother all shied her away from seeking the truth,
mm-hmm.
even though they all seen it. That's curious. Why? Because they weren't believers. There was a book in Julia Roberts' room, right? There were two books when he zoomed in on it. One was mm-hmm. called Witches, and another one was called The Strangest Woman, A Remarkable Woman,
mm-hmm.
right? Again, witchcraft. So witch is not going to, subscribe and to the biblical principles, right? So when she gets down there, she gets past she's in the red door, she's in a protected place, she's having her Last Supper, and she begins watching that meal. If you go back, that reminds me, what was it? Matthew, hold on. I wrote the scripture down. Matthew 20:16. The first will be last, and the last will be first. The last one.
Okay, but where you bringing that in? Like at the end?
I'm bringing that in with Rose, right?
Uh-huh.
She's the last one left in this place. I'm talking about the rapture's happening. She's the last one, right? So the first will be last, and the last will be first. So now she's actually going to be one of the. Now she's watching the last one. So this is the reference, the scriptural reference I'm bringing in to show what was going on, because now she made it to safety, shelter, and eventually everlasting life. Because guess what she wound up doing by going to that room?
What?
She left the world behind.
Now watch this. I can promise you, every black person that was watching that, when her mother started screaming her name, she walked toward it, and then she turned and was walking toward the room. And I know every black person like, why are you going there? What are you doing? And she just walked slowly down there. It's like, no sister would do that. In a house like that, you're like, why are you even doing that? And she just walked like she was almost pulled to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
That's crazy.
That's my point. I believe ultimately she kept asking the certain questions. There was a tugging on her spirit, a calling on her life, that she needed to get to the protected place, and she could not get the answers from her family. So she had to leave the world behind to be drawn closer to Christ. That's what I took from it.
Yeah. Where were the thorns though?
The thorn is just a symbolism.
But I'm saying nobody was in that house. That was just that was the place.
Remember, the house they went to was a vacation home.
Gotcha.
This
Yeah,
is an
because
area
both of them are
they probably
vacations.
was somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he said that's some rich folk stuff. Remember, he said
Exactly,
he's building all that, he's putting all this stuff in there, and he's never there.
Yeah.
He said that's where you might want to check out.
That's what you might want to check out.
Yeah.
The survivalists did that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was basically, everybody laughed at the preppers. He was up there prepping for the end days.
Oh, wow. Wow. All right, man. Let's move to our next topic. And if you got a pen or a pencil, write some points, because he's gonna talk about maybe 5 points.
Okay.
And write down what you want to emphasize and what we could discuss. It can be all of them, or it could be particular points that he's going to talk about. So let's roll into that one, Val.
Things I would change is the things that affected other people in a negative way. I don't feel like it's worth it. You know what I mean? To hurt people, or to like your actions to be so driven by ambition that they rub other people the wrong way. I would change those things. Anything else? Nah, that's the testimony. That's you. That's what gave me my understanding, was that I can reflect in them moments of being confused. You're gonna lay in the bed you make. You're not gonna get away with nothing in terms of the energy. You know what I mean? You might beat the camera or the police. They might not catch you for what you're doing, but the energy is always gonna return to you. So when you just living in this cycle of being negative all day and just putting out negativity, and that's the only energy you putting out, it's gonna return to you in different form than you put it out in. So I would just say, master your energy. Do your best to master your energy and what you put out. And unless that's what you want, because you entitled to whatever you want to create, whatever experience you want to create for yourself. But if you're tired of that shit, adjust the energy. You know what I mean? As best you can. Adjust what you wake up thinking and what you say. And then lastly, what you do. And that's not an easy thing to do, because it's such a pressure in these areas to just go by the way things are. And don't quit. I think everybody get tested. Everybody get that game tested. If you don't quit, you're going to learn and you're going to figure things out. That's really the secret to everything, is how much you can take. You know what I'm saying? How much pressure, how much stress, how much insecurity in your decisions, all of that you can take before you say it's too uncomfortable. I'm gonna just go back to being, I'm not gonna challenge myself. I'm gonna just be whatever your version of regular is. So if you just don't quit, I think you're gonna be able to get the education that empower you through your experience.
I think as human beings, everybody has a natural gift and a natural passion, but then you go outside and you get influenced and you feel pressure from what's going on outside. And so, I read one time, like, would you rather be at war with yourself and at peace with the world, or at peace with yourself and at war with the world?
You don't have resources, you in survival mode. So being in survival mode automatically rules out a lot of things, because you don't care about morality, because you don't experience morality. You experience, the need to survive. You don't experience, fairness. You don't experience planning for the future. You just experience my ribs touching. You know what I mean? And it's better me than you. And, it's a survival instinct that kick in. So I think once you get out of the survival mode, your morals come back closer to your daily decision making. You start thinking about what's right and what do I believe in. But until you get out of survival mode, you ain't got time to be worrying about right and wrong. You worrying about bottom line. You know what I mean? By any means necessary.
Never make moves under pressure. I try not to. On Crenshaw, I've said this is gonna be the first time I give my fan base a directive and say, if you want to reciprocate for the inspiration that I've given you over the course of these 5 mixtapes, here's how you do it. Proud to pay. It's a $100 CD. Come to the pop-up shop. So I had won over enough people that we sold out the first 1,000 in the first day. The game gonna test you. You know what I mean? The game, everything gonna test you if it's worthwhile.
Right.
And you gonna make decisions based on what you care about more. And without even being conscious that you're getting tested, you're gonna be getting tested. And so you're gonna have decisions to make. Should I, continue this lifestyle, whether it's shopping, clothes, whatever your lifestyle is, or do I gotta sacrifice a little bit because I really, really care about this music and it really is important to me. So whatever I gotta do, I'm gonna do it. And that's gonna be them distinguishing decisions, you know what I'm saying? That separate the ones that end up getting it from the ones that don't.
You get people out of survival mode, they start thinking different. I did, you know, when I figured out, you know, how to get myself out of the situation, my approach to life and people was different. I wasn't so angry. I didn't have my guard up. I wasn't so aggressive. I wasn't so, you know, expecting, if you ain't helping me, fuck you. That wasn't the mentality no more. And I can't blame nobody, you know what I mean, that's thinking about how they gonna pay their rent, or like going through not having food at the house, being young and having to go outside to hustle to feed themselves with school clothes. That's gonna change people. That's gonna make you feel away, and you can't fault them. You just gotta kind of empathize with the scenario and understand. You put a person in survival mode, they're gonna survive by any means.
It feel good as an artist for people to appreciate your art. You know what I mean? Whoever it is. If it's somebody be like, man, that shit changed my life, bro, or if it's the Grammy. So
Highest level. I always respect when people find that balance, when they just make such a concentrated art that it's undeniable. We could be intentional and strategic as we want to be, but at the end of the day, we all are moved by next level art.
Right. I know you.
That's heavy.
Yeah, I know you was watching it. I bet you probably was writing everything, thinking. So give me your take on it.
And one of the first things you said, man, is that you're entitled to feel the way you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And many people get ashamed to feel that they want more. Many people feel ashamed that they're in a position where they don't have enough, right? And you see people act out different ways, man. And you see a lot of people, for example, like the influencers, right? And that's especially the influence.
Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the all button and all that kind of stuff, because we're going to have a lot of good interviews on this podcast.